lowering the questions for Mel and Kyla. Just if you have a question, make sure you direct it to Mel and Kyla.
Kyla, you had some great looks in the first half. What were you seeing getting to the rim and getting those shots to go?
I just noticed that the bigs weren't rotating over, so I know I have a quick first step, so I saw the lane and I took it.
Mel, obviously, Coach has talked in depth about how you could be like a sixth player of the year, and coming off the bench, you led the scoring for the team. I mean, how's that feel, and how does your impact fit in with the Stars?
Yeah, I mean, I've had different roles for this team throughout my 4 years, and I think I've really embraced kind of being that spark off the bench and just bringing energy when the team needs it. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried about the whole scoring thing. I'm just trying to come in and help out the team any way I can.
For both of you guys, two really good first halves, one against Washington, one against Oregon, and coming out a bit slow in that third quarter in both games. What do you guys think you need to do to start playing better in the second half?
I think our transition defense definitely needs to pick it up. I feel like people are getting a lot of easy looks on us, especially coming out in that second half. So I feel like if we just really lock in on our defense in those second halves and just at least force people to take and make tougher shots, then we shouldn't have big margins like that.
Yeah, I agree. We gotta play for 40 minutes. The game's not over after the first half, and I think that's been. I wouldn't say that we think the game is over, but I just think that we need to have that same fire and consistency, and we haven't been having it. And this is the Big Ten. We can't continue to be down 9 points because 9 can go to 15, go to 20 real quick in the Big Ten. So we just gotta stay sharper on defense.
And speaking of that point, I think you guys have played pretty good half-court defense. It's just been those transition looks. So, what is that a mentality thing, or is that what's the fix to that?
I know that I feel like we sort of shoot and then kind of look and see what happens first instead of just sprinting back. I think that should be our number one priority is getting back, and then I think that'll make it easier to then match up once the team crosses half court.
Yeah. Obviously, in this game, limiting turnovers, which is a good thing. I mean, Coach talked about in the press conference last game about how live ball turnovers were a big problem. What y'all work on in practice to kind of limit that?
Stepping to the ball was a big one. Just kind of being strong with it. I think that, honestly, the teams are physical, and we need to start being physical back. Pushing back into them, drawing contact, stuff like that. And really just stepping to the ball and kind of, trusting that our team is going to be there to catch the ball. I think this all you have to do, really.
Anything else? Awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Kick it off with an opening statement.
Yeah, just really disappointed in the way we came out in the third quarter. So I thought the first half was a wash, even though we were down 7, 8, 9. It was back and forth, 2, 3, 4. Both teams were playing well, and I thought at halftime we were fine. We just needed to, make some stops defensively, and maybe get out in transition, get some easier baskets, and instead Oregon just took it to us. We fought back and we got it down, 12, whatever. Same thing against Washington. It's pretty much. I feel like a broken record with these two games, and that I feel like we're close, but there's no moral victories. You gotta find ways, especially at home. We had great crowds both game. We got to come out ready to play at halftime, and and even in deep into the fourth quarter, obviously finish the game, and we got to do a better job. But there were some highlights, some things that were positive. Oregon, really talented team, great coach, great program. So. They're going to be ready to play. You can't blink. They're going to, come at you, and they shoved it down our throat, the last 12, 14 minutes of the game.
Again, just going back to that, starting out that third quarter slowly, where do you think that fix can come from? Is that starting just with the mentality, or is it an on-court thing?
You got to watch the tape, and we got to figure out, what. Sometimes we've been in foul trouble, But tonight, that wasn't the case to start the second half. We just got to come out with a lot more energy, find ways to go on runs. We're counterpunchers. We wait instead of coming out and being aggressive, and we got to change that quick.
Coach, I mean, there's a lot of different rotations you used today in terms of a lot of players who, obviously Mercy getting some of her first minutes of the year, and involving Ismail Walton and some of the other freshmen. Is that something we can look for in the future? And also, I mean, is that just a part of the game, just trying to figure out what group of players would be the best option?
Yeah, I think when you're in the situation we're in, you're looking for answers. So you want to give opportunities based on what you see in practice and based on what you feel are lineups that can play together, play with each other. And again, with Oregon's size, I thought Mercy came in and really did a good job. She'd been out a lot of the preseason with injuries, so she's just getting her legs back, and her ability to block shots and rebound is something that we desperately need. So I was proud of her.
Good performance from her coaches. And Kyla Jones as well. She had not played as much in the last 4 games, but 25 minutes today, 14 points. Really impressed by her.
Yeah, Kyla is an integral part of what we do and who we are. So, we need her on the floor, whether she's, like her and Mel both can be interchangeable. I like Mel in that 6-player role, as you mentioned to her, because I think it changes the game, usually for the positive. But both of them, for us to be successful in this league, they're both going to have to score. They're both going to have to defend really good players on the other team.
Kind of to that point, there's so many, just the Big Ten, we've talked about it a lot, how it's such a deep conference. Some days you have people like Che, who's standing at 6'8", and then you're going to California in a couple weeks to play Juju Watkins. How do you prepare for matchups against such star players?
Yeah, well, we got our hands full with Ohio State. I don't know what they're ranked, somewhere in the top 10. Yeah, I mean they're. So we've had great games with Ohio State. So we got to move forward. You can't. The one thing, having coached a long time, is that you can learn, but you got to move forward. Next play, next game, next practice. So that's really important for us, and just to keep our players. We've had some tough injuries this year. We haven't practiced at a high level. We need some time on the floor. 7 new players to learn each other's games, and it's a relentless league, so you don't have, practices have to be really efficient over the next couple of weeks, and I think we'll be fine. Guys, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.